A Xiaomi phone versus a Vivo would be a very boring comparison, but it's certainly worth a conversation if we are talking about phones with Leica optics in Zeiss class.
And it is much more than a glass. It is a complete marriage of two German optical brands and the mega smarts of Xiaomi and Vivo.
And we are not talking about phones which just pack in some of the best hardware you'll find on an Android. We are talking about cameras that will get everyone's juices flowing. And I have been using the Xiaomi 14 for the past 1 week.
And I have been using the Vivo X100 ever since it launched in India. This is the Vivo X100 versus the Xiaomi 14, Zeiss versus Leica. Which one of these phones are the best phones under Rs 70,000? Let's find out.
The Xiaomi 14 has lovely hardware. It has got these iPhone-like geometrical rails, a flat screen, and a matte black finish, which is really stealthy. And at the same time, it's a very substantial and chunky smartphone. Though that's not to say this is a big phone, because it's actually compact thanks to its 6.3-inch display. So you get top-class build quality and top-class ergonomics. Though it exactly isn't a looker. Why? Because the OnePlus 12 and the Vivo X100 just do a snazzier job.
Well, the X100 is the polar opposite. It's got this large curved glass display, and in this blue finish, the concentric circles on the back panel along with the crescent-shaped camera module does look cooler than Xiaomi 14. But does it feel more substantial? No. This display also feels inferior, but not just because of the curves. It is because of the viewing experience.
Ah yes, the display, the 1.5K OLED AMOLED 120Hz display on the Xiaomi 14 is delightful. It gets super bright, 3000 nits of brightness. Yes, the same amount as you get on the Vivo X100, but this screen is really nice. It's special. Why? Because it gets punchier colors, it has great viewing angles, and of course it gets bright, and it's flat also at the same time. The Vivo, on the other hand, tends to get a bit washed out. That's a tendency amongst Vivo's displays, and this one then in that context kind of blows it away, even though both have 3000 nits of peak brightness.
But if you want a bigger screen, it is the Vivo X100. Maybe the OnePlus 12 would even work, but its cameras aren't as good as either of these phones.
I have to say, judging the software is a tricky affair. It's like being between a rock and a hard place. Xiaomi's new Hyper OS is cleaner, it's smoother, it's nice.
Meanwhile, ColorOS on the X100 has come a long way, but man, does it feel like a dated version of stock Android. It's smooth and the bloatware has been reduced, but it just doesn't give you that flagship phone vibe.
The issue out here is that even though the bloatware situation has highly improved on both of these phones, there is still craft that shouldn't belong in devices of this price point. That is where a phone like the OnePlus 12 will win over audiences. That is where an iPhone or Pixel comes into play.
One of the reasons the performance hasn't taken a hit on either of these phones is because of the hardware. These phones are monsters and the bloat doesn't slow them down.
The cameras are what everyone is waiting for, and in that department, the Xiaomi has the Vivo beat. It gets bigger sensors and a bold new stacked sensor from OmniVision called the Light Hunter. On top of that, you also get a 3.x telephoto zoom lens, which is great, which is lovely for portraits. And all of this is combined with the Leica tuning, which is the secret sauce behind Xiaomi's new camera system, and it is an all-rounder. It's a lovely camera system. This is an exceptionally good camera system which is right up there with the latest iPhone, the Pro Max, I would say. Though it could in certain scenarios even beat that phone.
Now, the X100 has an edge in processing. In daylight, Xiaomi is right up there with the Vivo X100. It takes better low light shots when the light is trickier and is also better at processing glare. But hardware wise, it is behind the Xiaomi 14, and in fact, the telephoto is better on the Xiaomi 14, so physics has its advantages.
You know why I gravitated towards the Qualcomm chip? Because Qualcomm's chips stay cool, which helps battery life. Those chips are also married with the best modems, which basically means your phone is not always hunting for a signal. That also helps battery life.
And this is not to disparage the Dimensity 9300, which performs equally well as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It's just how a small phone with a significantly smaller battery is able to deliver a better battery life than a phone with 12% larger battery.
The Xiaomi certainly looks like the better package between the two, but the Vivo should not be underestimated. Ignore it at your own peril, because if you're looking for a phone that has a larger canvas and has a killer camera, then it is the only choice. Remember, the Xiaomi 14 is a rather compact phone and people these days don't like compact phones.
Well, Sahil, you only like Xiaomi because you have scrawny hands.
Well, that's true.
But seriously, while the X100 is a great option, the Xiaomi 14 is an all-round package. Now, if you are looking for a great alternative, the OnePlus 12 offers you better battery life, better performance, and a clean user experience.
Just remember, those Hasselblad cameras on the OnePlus don't hold a patch on these two.